I'm going to make this video, it may be too long and it may include a lot of stuff we don't need, but let me walk you through 1941 Wurlitzer 1100. This is the player mechanism. This is the pin bank. It's got a coil, and I'm going to go around the back and show you the rest of it, but there's 24 selections and there's 24 individual coils. Each coil, let's go around the back. You can see has got a small pin associated with it. Additionally, we've got this little wiper that comes around, and he feels that when he hits a pin, he stops, and that's the one we should be playing right there. So at the other end of this shaft that I'm turning right now during the scan, this comes here, hits a pin. Now on the back side, I've got this heart-shaped cam, and in the heart-shaped cam, I've got this arm that starts here, comes out, and as the heart-shaped cam turns, this guy rotates, moves the elevator up and down, and at the top of the elevator is a tray selector. So I'll put the cycle on so you can see the whole thing. It hits a pin, it slides the tray out. Now I don't have a turntable, so the turntable would go up, the record cancels, comes down, looks for the next one. And there it goes. So that's how the selector works. The problem I had, and let me show you this, is right here, for example, if I were to pick this tray, the way this works is when this stops, this guy comes in, engages that tooth and locks this in position. But even with that locked in position, there's still a significant amount of play over here, almost 1/4 inch. So if I come up here, I'm like, just the tolerance is enough to screw me up. So that's where I was going crazy, is I would let this run without using the pins, and it would just run and then load and load. And on occasion, it would get 2 of these. And the problem I had was, if I pictured, and I think I can show you this. Picture this area here. I've got basically a roller rolling inside of that track. So what's interesting is when it's going up, it's the bottom of the track, and then when it's coming down, it's inside of the track, and that's what causes the tolerance problem. So it turns out this little backwards rake here is originally described as, when this guy comes in and hits the pin, you do not want that little feeler up against the pin, or the pin will not reset when this feeler gets pushed out, which is how it resets the pin. Just like this. Right, so you have to back it off a little. So that's what this little rake is for. I hit the pin, I hit this guy, and I bring him back the littlest bit. And that's how it's supposed to. Now, as it turns out, that, which I had no idea, is part of how you get rid of the tolerances, because every time you pull this in, it attempts to push the mechanism down. And in pushing it down, it's making sure that this arm is always up against the top of the roller, so I consistently land in the same place. So as long as I'm hitting, if I don't use the pins, I'm not going to get this little backwards action. And as such, I'm going to land randomly at the top or the bottom of that track. But by causing this little bit of back action like that, you're forcing the roller to drop into to run against the top of the course and getting rid of all the plays. And now I've got virtually no play, and it's consistent from selection to selection. And what's interesting is where the problem originally comes up is when you're going in one direction, you're pushing on one side of that track. When you're coming in the other direction, you're pushing in the opposite side. And what's interesting about this is it always pushes the assembly up. Right? Every time you hit that little rake, it shifts the thing in the right direction so that you're always up against the track. So was my big discovery this week. I had been running this without any pins out, which it will do. And when there are no pins out, I don't get this little bit of action that pushes me up against the bottom or the top. And without having that, this guy is just landing random depending on what the last selection was. So I fixed that, and this particular one seems to be working fine.